You are watching this video because the water flow from your shower head is way too weak and you would like that to be stronger. You could increase the pressure of your shower. I will show you how. So you have good water pressure, but yet when you pull the shower and you want to take a shower and you get this measly little flow, it might be just a setting on your shower head, or it might be the restrictor valve that's built into this system. Apparently, in the United States, when shower heads are sold, they are required to have a restrictor valve. But it is up to you, the owner, if you want to remove that restrictor valve and get a better flow out of your shower. Without your shower head or your restrictor valve, your water flow would be completely unrestricted. This is what your water flow would look like without a restrictor valve. A flow restrictor or flow limiter is a small device used to limit the amount of water that flows through your shower as required by U.S. law. Your device probably was sold to you with a flow restrictor because that is what the law requires. It is a good reason for the law, and that is water conservation. I'm not an authority on water conservation. This is just a video to show you how to remove the restrictor flow device if you deem it necessary to do so. And keep in mind, you are no longer conserving water when you do this, unless you have one of the shower heads where you can click to one of the 5 or 10 different settings where it will restrict that flow to a very slow shower. But there are times when you do not want a restricted flow of your shower for health reasons, such as flushing toxins from your skin after you've been working with chemicals or other things, dirt and so on. When I come in off the lake, I want to get any sediment off my skin because we have the itch out at the lake, and a high flow for a short time will help me manage the health and needs that I have. Okay, enough on conservation. It's your responsibility to conserve water. It's my responsibility just to show you how to remove this flow device for those few times when you need a higher flow on your shower. Removing the flow restrictor, depending on what device you have, is very, very easy. Whether you're removing this hose end, or up here. One thing you do want to pick up at the store before you start this is Teflon tape. The reason for that is you're going to need the Teflon tape when you rethread this, and I'll show you that in a moment. I have 2 different shower heads to show you the examples of what I'm talking about. On this shower head, the restrictor valve is built into the assembly, and you're going to have to use a screw to get that out. On this older assembly, it's basically in the handle. You just unscrew this handle. Guess what? It's not in there. So on this older shower head, it's located in the mount device. In this older shower head, I just removed this part. This part is the same as this part. The restrictor valve was right here, which would be equivalent to being right here. You can see where that would be. So that on your device, it could be right here. In this older device, the restrictor valve was built so that you can simply unscrew the restrictor and remove it. So I'm going to pull this out and show you what that looks like. What the restrictor valve does is allow some water through. Without the restrictor valve, your water would be allowed to flow through here at full volume. The job of the restrictor valve then is to reduce that water flow, thus conserving water. Most of the time your shower is plenty adequate with that. You may not even notice a water pressure difference. But there are times when you would want to have the option to have a higher water flow on your shower head, and you would want unrestricted flow through that hole. This newer system has a restrictor valve built right into it, right there. You're going to need a paper clip, and you're also going to need a needle nose pliers to get in there. If that won't do it, basically you sink a screw into that, and you can pull out that assembly with a screw. If your unit that you purchased is new, your instructions will probably tell you how to remove that restrictor valve. Removing the O-ring will remove a portion of that flow restrictor. It's as easy as putting in a paper clip and pulling out that O-ring. Save it in case you need it later. Now, there's still a partial flow restrictor valve in there. You can also remove that by putting a screw into it and yanking it out. Or If you have a needle nose pliers, you may be able to get in there and remove it with the needle nose pliers. We're going to start with that method. The ability to remove that with just a needle nose pliers depends on the tool that you have and if it will fit into the hole. It appears my needle nose pliers is just too big to get in there. So I'm going to have to go to the second option, and that's simply by sinking a screw into one of those 4 holes and yanking it out. I'll show you that next. Okay, if the needle nose pliers does not work in the removal of the restrictor valve, such as what we see here, then you can put a screw into there and simply turn that screw a couple of turns to pop that loose. I'm thinking maybe worst case scenario, you just get a drill bit and router it out if you want to. But be careful not to get sediment on the inside. Did you see that? It popped right out. So this is a restrictor valve that is not molded into the body assembly, and it's also a restrictor valve that is not screwed in. So you may, depending on what you have, there may be different ways to remove that restrictor valve. One additional option for getting your restrictor out is just simply stick a corkscrew in there and pull it out that way. If these methods don't work, then I would urge you to consult with the manufacturer of your shower head, or just simply buy a new one. There, I simply pushed it back in, and the purpose of that is just to simply show you the fact that even if you remove the restrictor valve for a specific reason, you could put it back in. So I urge you to keep that restrictor valve and the O-ring that came with it. I would pop that O-ring assembly back into place, because then it's impossible to lose, and put this in a place where you know you could find it again when you need to reinstall it in there. If you do remove the restrictor valve, I urge you to buy a shower head that is adjustable so that you can set it to the lowest water flow for most cases. And then on the day where you might need a higher water flow, you can turn it to the high flow setting. Another thing you'd want to consider is the fact that you may have some built up sediment from your hard water, and you would want to cleanse this so that you can get rid of all that built up sediment, and that will help you increase your water flow as well. In fact, you might not even need to remove your restrictor once you've cleaned this. Now, for the expert, I have to ask my wife. Actually, my wife knows how to clean the sediment because she's done this before. I know you do something with a bag. Well, I want to increase the flow of water through this shower head. So how do you do that?
You need to put a cup of vinegar and a cup of water and move it in there. Swish it around like that for about 5 minutes or so, and then you should be good. So
5 minutes of vinegar and water in a bag, right?
Yes.
She's the expert.
And then swish it around. I mean, you gotta.
Oh, you gotta agitate it.
Yeah, you gotta do something.
Much like I do to you. So I simply need equal parts of vinegar and water in a bag. Make sure that bag doesn't leak. Get equal parts of water. Probably a cup of each if that's enough to fill your bag up. And then about 5 minutes worth of just agitating that formula. And that vinegar and water combination will break up all of that sediment. It's already working. You can see it in here. It's already removed about half of that sediment. Oh, and a couple of tips to point out. When you reassemble this, you want to make sure you use new Teflon tape to wrap around once around the threads before you rethread your shower head. That will reduce the leakage. The second thing is you want to make sure you have your gasket, your washer, your rubber washer, and install that. If the one you had in there was really filthy, then go get a new one. They're less than $1, and it will reduce how much, well, it'll eliminate the leakage that you have between your shower handle and your hose. Any part that you disassemble, make sure you use these two things as you reassemble your shower head. So there you have it, YouTube audience. I urge you to make comments below. Give thumbs up if you like this video. And if you have other recommendations, and I'm pretty sure there are people that do have other recommendations, I would invite you to put those comments below, because your comments and input is going to help other people understand their shower settings. Thanks for watching Frosty Life. What you working on? You got some cabinets being remade for our kitchen?
I was setting up the garage sale.
Oh.
Then I got sidetracked.
She's a woman of many projects. Well, isn't that nice of you?
Cream?
Yes, please.
Not me. I like it black.
Are you staying out here?
No, I'm going in. My hands are full. Thank you, Amanda. You're most kind and courteous.